Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I'm calling this session of the Board of Revision to order and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Ojibwe, Cree, and Dakota peoples, and the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation and Treaty 3 territory. My name is Harvey Diamond, and with me today are Mr. Jerry Arnell and Mr. Brian Carlin. The City of Winnipeg Assessment Department is represented by Ryan Valderrama, and our administrator is Phoebe Graywood. We will be hearing applications for revision of the business assessment rules in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act and the City of Winnipeg Charter. The matters for which revision have been requested and are described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing must be sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to such matters must first be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments are not considered as evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it as well as of City Administration. We make our decision based on the evidence provided at this hearing and will issue written orders that we've mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the Board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to an application for exemption from taxation. And should a party wish to appeal, information on to do so will be included with the Board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed to each applicant following their swearing in. We'll then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and the applicant's testimony followed by any questions. And each side will be given an opportunity to summarize if they wish to do so. Once all the evidence upon application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today, and the session will close after all applications have been heard. And the Board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You receive the Board's decision by written mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will form part of a public record. And today we are hearing items 1 through 7 on our docket. And Ms. Graywood, you can now please affirm the assessors and applicant's testimony.
Mr. Valderrama, please state your full name.
Ryan Valderrama.
Do you affirm the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And Mr. Reimer, please state your full name.
Kerry Reimer.
Do you affirm the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, well, item 1 in our docket is the McDonald's location at 3920 Grant Avenue. And Mr. Valderrama, when you're ready, you can proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first file on our docket is located at 3920 Grant Avenue. It has a business assessment ID of 45 or 45. It has a total annual rental value of $205,740. It has a total area of premise of about 5,603 square feet, with an overall calculated ARV per square foot of about $36.72. Right below it is the calculation of the base ARV and base rent. The base ARV or rent is about $34.02. The heated area is 5,603 square feet. The electricity or the area with electricity and water and air conditioned areas are also the same, which gives a total occupancy cost of about $15,128, giving it a total annual rental value of $205,740. Mr. Chair, I would make a recommendation on this one, Mr. Chair, if I may.
Please let us know what the recommendation is.
The annual rental value recommendation that I'm proposing is $190,080, rounded.
Okay. And I'm assuming that to get that to you referred to the in-place rental that you showing?
The rent is based on $31.22, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Okay, and Mr. Reimer, noting your brief that I've had an opportunity of looking at, that's basically the same as what you're requesting. So I'm assuming you're accepting that recommendation?
I am indeed, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so any questions, Mr. Carlin?
No questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Arnell, do you have any questions?
No questions, thanks.
Okay, and I don't either. So thank you very much for your recommendation. And we have no questions, so we'll proceed then with item number 2, which is the property at 3900 Grant Avenue. And Mr. Valderrama, again, when you're ready, you can proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As mentioned, the next file on the docket, it's located, or it is a business located at 3900 Grant Avenue. The business assessment ID is 43643. It has a total annual rental value of $572,820. It has a total area.
Mr. Chair, could you get him to read it in the file number?
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
The file number is 24-4928.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Valderrama.
And the total premise or the area of all premise for this business is about 42,195 square feet. It has a calculated overall ARV per square foot or annual rental value per square foot of about $13.58. On this one, there are 2 premises. The first premise has a 39,313 square feet area, and the second one has a 2,882 square feet of area. The larger area has a base ARV of about 433,622, which is calculated at $11.03 per square foot. The heated area, an area with electricity, water, and air conditioned, is about 39,313 square feet, giving it a total occupancy cost of about $106,145. The smaller area, excuse me, has an area of 2,882 square feet, a base ARV of $25,304, and a base ARV per square foot of about $8.78 per square foot. The heated area, area with electricity, water, and air conditioned, is about 2,882 square feet, giving it a total occupancy cost of about $7,781. All in all, the annual rental value is $572,820 rounded. On the rent comparable side, I have gathered a few. They're all ranging from $17.25 up to $19.42 in different areas around the city. And that's my presentation, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Mr. Reimer, any questions?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I just have a couple. So, Mr. Valderrama, we can agree that for the purposes of the calculating the annual rental value, what our task is this morning is to examine a net market rent for the subject premise as of the reference date of April 1, 2023, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so April 1, 2023. Now, we can agree then, when I looked at your materials, the start date of the lease renewal for this premise itself is March 1st of 2022.
That's correct.
So just roughly a year prior to the reference date.
Yep, that's correct.
And that lease renewal is in turn much closer to the reference date than any of the comparables that you've shown at the bottom of the brief, correct?
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
No more questions, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Arnell, do you have any questions?
Do we know if this is a step-up lease at all?
I have no information on that one, Mr. Chair. Sorry.
That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr.
Thank
Carlin,
you.
do you have any questions?
I assume the rent comparables are also kind of a supermarket-ish premises?
More of they have a report area closer to the total area of the subject business, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I note the in-place lease has got a reported rent of $9.54 a square foot, and I know that Mr. Reimer pointed out that that's pretty close to the valuation date. Have you inspected any of your comparables and compared them with the property that we're dealing with today, right now?
I wasn't able to inspect, Mr. Chair. No.
You chose them. On what basis did you choose your comparables?
Of course, it's the reported area, Mr. Chair. Basing it on that one, and hoping that it would be closer to the subject business premise, Mr. Chair.
Okay. I note that the rent that's used, I did the calculation. So it's an average rent of $10.87 for the two premises, which is a lot lower than any of the comparables, but it's higher than the in-place rent. Do you have any? Why would such a low? If you have comparables like this, do you know why the model would have picked an overall average rent of $10.87?
I believe, without really going into the details of how the model picks its rent per square foot, I believe it's based off of what's going on in the market, Mr. Chair. And this is a model-driven parameter, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, because I would have thought using the comparables, if your comparables are fair comparables, that the model would have picked up a much higher rate than 1087.
Correct. So in that case, Mr. Chair, the model rent is way supported or way below the what the market is indicating. And also with my rent comparables around the market, they're all older leases, Mr. Chair, and long-term leases as well. So these are pretty stable leases around the market, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. No, I'm just wondering if there's something unique with this property that would be the reason why, but I'm sure Mr. Reimer will be able to deal with that when he gives his information. So thank you, Mr. Valderrama.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Hey, Mr. Reimer, I have no further questions. Mr. Reimer, you can proceed.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. If I could ask the board members and Mr. Valderrama to turn to page 2. So this is the Safeway at 3900 Grant Avenue. And the request this morning is to reduce the annual rental value from $572,820 to $516,420. Mr. Chairman, I'm going to preface my comments on this one, and this is common to all of the submissions this morning. The approach that we've taken, and the approach as well, I believe that Mr. Valderrama has taken, to the extent that there were agreements on the realty assessment relating to the property assessment appeal for 2025, board members will understand within that context with these agreements, there are market rent, obviously the market rents that are applied for the purposes of deriving the realty assessment final value are a significant part of the equation. And then within that, this is the important consideration I'd ask the board to make. There are certainly many instances, in fact, more than not, where the department and we will agree to a final value. What we do not necessarily agree with is the individual valuation parameters, whether we've used a bit of a different cap or we've used different rent. And then to complicate matters a little further, and this is a good example of it, there's several tenants in this mall, and the market rents that we conclude when we derive that final assessed value may well differ from the market rents applied by the department. So Mr. Valderrama is certainly coming by these figures very honestly, as are we. It's just a question of some different assumptions that were made by Ryan Altus Group at the time. Sorry, by Ryan, I mean Ryan ULC, not Ryan Valderrama. Different assumptions that I'll just say Altus made at the time as to the market rent for individual premises. And this case is a good example of that. So when we go then, and those comments would apply to each of the matters this morning. If we go to page 5, please, of our submission. So I do talk briefly about the realty assessment appeal. It was in fact resolved at a value of $32,448,000. That Ryan's valuation, as in again I say Ryan ULC, final valuation was based on the application of a total potential market rent of $402,540, and that is the request that we're making this morning. So if we turn briefly to page 6, that is based upon that March, I believe it was March 2022 lease renewal. And the question had been posed was, is it a step up? No, it was not a step up. It was a renewal, a 5-year renewal at that rate. So we've applied the 954 to come in with the suggested value of 516,420. I wanted to take a couple of minutes now. If we could go then skip down to page 23, please, of our submission. So I very much do want to illustrate to the board sort of how we're getting to the positions we are on these things. So on page 23, this is the Board of Revision submission as to the realty assessment, the original submission to the board. Ultimately, the submission to the board would have been based on a lower number typically than what we finally resolved the matter at. But again, when we're getting to the resolution within that, if we're going to change a market rent assumption on our side, then that's the approach I would take this morning as well. That amended market rent would be put forward to the board this morning, because at the end of the day, the market rent for the realty assessment is what's the market rent for that unit as of April 1st, 2023. And for our purposes with the business assessment, it's the same objective. What's the market rent for this unit we're looking at as of March 1st, 2023. So you can see on page 23, we've applied the 954 foot, and then what we've done, and this is again for the realty assessment, but it's certainly appropriate to make reference to it in the context of this hearing. We've applied at the bottom of page 23 a number of rent comparables, and actually, if you look at that, Mr. Chairman, the rental range itself is actually quite consistent, at least towards the top end, with the comparables provided by Mr. Valderrama this morning. But because it was because the lease renewal is only just over a year off the reference date, we gave that very significant weight. You will see the comparable number 12 and 13, very similar sized grocery stores, and they were also at the lower rates based on leases negotiated in February of 19 and December of 17, along with the other comparables you see there. So this rental rate is at the lower end of the range. I'm not going to try and sort of sugarcoat that, but at the same time, I'd suggest it's within the range. It's only a year off the reference date, and therefore that forms the basis of our request, both at the realty hearing and then again this morning at the business assessment hearing for this premise. So the request in conclusion then is to reduce this annual rental value from $572,820 to $516,420, based upon the application of the March 22 renewal rate of $974, as we'd also applied with realty. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Valderrama, any questions?
I have none, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any questions, Mr. Carlin?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Arnell, do you have any questions?
No questions, thanks.
Thank you. So, Mr. Radman, I'm looking at your table that you referred to on page 23, and I do note that the rentals rates seem to be going down as time goes by. Although, if you go up to your comparable 9 and 10, the rates are a little bit higher, and they too were negotiated around the same time. And the one that was negotiated in 1921 is $17. So about that. So how do we know that? Do you have any inkling of why or what went into the final lease rate of $954?
And that exactly. Thanks, Mr. Chairman. What I can say is it's not a step up. I do know that it was a lease renewal as of March of 22, and as I say, it is, and admittedly, it's at the bottom end of that range, and that's why I wanted to draw the board's attention to what we had done on the realty, because it is at the lower end, but it's not. It certainly is not, beyond the range shown on my page 23. My suggestion would be this: if you look on, and Mr. Chairman, I'm referring now to the chart, the same one you were looking at on page 23. If you look specifically at the last two comparables, the Regent and St. Mary's Road, what tends to happen, and I have seen this a couple of times, and this is not, Mr. Chairman, I haven't investigated this, what I'm about to say specifically in the context of this lease renewal, but in my mind, it made sense. You've got grocery stores that are at some of the more significant community or regional centers, and they are considered to be obviously a bit of a draw for the center itself. And what tends to happen, and that's the case with comps 12 and 13 as well, what tends to happen is they will negotiate a favorable rate with the landlord, with the owner of the properties, because the owners see the benefit of getting that traffic to the grocery store, which then presumably would help the traffic within the mall itself. That's the only possible explanation I could give to you. And again, just saying we placed, because of the renewal date of March 22, we placed significant weight on it for that reason.
Okay, and the actual in-place rent is which is what you used, is at $9.54. The model's overall rate is $10.87 for the base rent, with you average the two premises. And why is the model not an accurate reflection?
Again, I'd go back to the fact that the model is based on a multiple regression analysis, which is all well and good. But at the end of the day, Mr. Chairman, we're looking at site-specific data relating to this premise. And I'd suggest again that the best evidence relates, because this is a March 2022 renewal, very close to the reference date. That's a much more reliable predictor of the market rent for this premise, because it's only a year off the reference date. The multiple regression model values are all well and good for mass appraisal for the assessment. They've got to throw these things on the roll, but that's certainly subject, I'd suggest, to revision based on the analysis of this premise specific information that we have in this case, and that you'll see in a couple of other cases as well.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Reimer.
Thank you.
Okay, so that'll take us to item number 3 then, which is the property at 1875 Grant Avenue. The running room, Mr. Boardroom, when you're ready, you can proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next file has a file number of 24-4608. We're dealing with 2025 roll year. The business is located at 1875 Grant Avenue. It has a business assessment ID of 20668. The total annual rental value is $68,220. The total area of the business premise is 2,250 square feet. And the calculated overall ARV per square foot is $30.32. The base ARV for this premise is about $62,122, or a rent per square foot of about $27.61. The areas with heat, electricity, water, and air conditioning are all 2,250 square feet, which gives a total occupancy cost of about $6,075, which gives a total annual rental value of $68,220. I'd like to make a recommendation, Mr. Chair, on this one.
Yes.
I'd like to make a recommendation of $66,840 rounded, $66,840 rounded.
Okay. And
This-
that's based on the actual in-place rent at $27.
It is based
Alright.
on the reported rent of $27 per square foot.
Thank you. And Mr. Reimer, I note that's basically in the line with what you're requesting. So I'm assuming that you're going to accept that recommendation.
I am in agreement. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, Mr. Arnell?
No questions, thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Carlin, do you have any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. And I don't either, so thank you very much. So we can then go on then to our agenda item number 4. And that is the property at 1665 Kenniston. And I note, Mr. Reimer, that you've requested confirmation on that matter.
Indeed, yep.
Okay, thank you. And I'll ask again, Mr. Arnell, do you have any questions on that?
No questions.
No. Thank you. Mr. Carlin, do you have any questions?
No questions, thank you.
I don't either. And so I'm assuming, Mr. Valderrama, you don't as well. You'll happily accept a confirmation.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
All of these, Mr. Chair, could you get him to read in the item?
Yes, we can. Yes, Mr. Valderrama, if you just read in the file number and the application number, etc.
Yes, Mr. Chair. So this file has a file number of 24-4791. It is dealing with the roll year of 2025. The business is located at 1665 Keniston Boulevard with a business assessment ID of 37219. The total annual rental value is $52,440 with a total area of premise of about 1,829 square feet with a calculated overall ARV per square foot of about $28.67 per square foot, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Okay, we can then proceed with agenda item number 5, which is the property 1569 Keniston Boulevard. And Mr. Valderrama, when you're ready.
Here, Mr. Chair. The next file has a file number of 24-4808. We're dealing with the roll year of 2025. The business is located at 1569 Keniston Boulevard. The business assessment ID is 32979. The total annual rental value is $118,980. It has a total area for the business premise of about 5,235 square feet and a calculated overall ARV per square foot of about $22.73 per square foot. The base rent as derived by the model is about $20.03. The areas of the premise with heat, electricity, water, and air conditioning is about 5,235 square feet, which gives it a total occupancy cost of about $14,135, giving it an annual total rental value of $118,980. On right at the bottom, I do have some rent comparables indicated. They're all ranging from $18 per square foot up to $28 per square foot. And these are all within the business premise or the subject business premise area. And this is my presentation, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions, Mr. Reimer?
No questions at this time, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Carlin, do you have any questions?
Just to confirm, it looks like a number of the rent comparables are actually right in the same either area or adjacent, right?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. That's my only question.
Thank you.
Mr. Arnell, do you have any questions?
No questions. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Valderrama, I'm noting that the reported rent on in-place lease is $17.50. The model has taken a base rent of $20.03, and I'm looking at your comparables. So I guess the question I have is that it looks like this lease start date was 2003. Do you know if it's a step-up lease?
I have no information on that one, Mr. Chair. I apologize. However, the rent comparables I have here are also within the area of the subject business, which are also pretty much stable lease terms with multiple years, ranging from more than 10 years to about 20 years or even 20 years. That's right. And I believe that the market rents or based on the rent comparables are all supporting the base ARV that the model has calculated, Mr. Chair.
Okay. And I'm looking at your comparables and the lease start date, and there's one at $18, which is close, which was negotiated the same year as the in-place lease. And your
Correct,
others
Mr.
that
Chair.
were negotiated later are showing much higher rents. Like one that was negotiated in 2021 is at $28, and in 2020 at $22.75. So it looks like rents may be then, would you agree, or maybe going up as time goes by?
Based on this, the information we have here in front of us, yes, I would agree to that kind of trending, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually to notice. Okay, well, thank you very much, Mr. Valderrama. Mr. Reimer, please proceed with
Thank you.
your evidence.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. If I could ask the board members to turn, sorry, I'm just getting back to this here. Turn to page 2, please. So the request in this case is to reduce the annual rental value from $118,980 to $105,720. Now, I'm going to make a couple of comments based on the evidence that Mr. Valderrama submitted. If we could turn initially, please, to our page 5. So again, this is a case where the realty assessment was ultimately resolved, the realty assessment appeal that is for 2025, and within that, Brian ULC's valuation was based on $1,750 a square foot for this premise. What's confusing me a little bit now, if I could ask the board to turn then to our page 20. This is the rental information that we had submitted to this board in connection with the realty assessment appeal. And towards the bottom of the chart on page 20, we had shown it's 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th from the bottom. That's the subject premise we are examining this morning. It's unit N0002. Trade name is Ricky's. And if you look to the right on that row, we had a lease start date of July 2020, which obviously puts a very different light on the situation. What I'm not entirely sure of is how that July 2020 start date got in there, because as Mr. Valderrama, when I was looking at his evidence as he was presenting, I skipped down to the end of my submission, and actually the lease start date is also showing as 2003 and not 2020. The board will appreciate that fundamentally changes the perspective that I would imagine the board members would have and that I would have, because a 2003 negotiated lease with a step up has no connection whatsoever, or no necessary connection to the market of the premise as of April 1, 2023. So, Mr. Chairman, for the purposes of our submission, I'm going to leave my request stand at the ARV of 105,720, but I will, in the context of the review and that 2003 start date, I'll just leave that for the board to consider what, if any, impact that would have on the conclusions that the board might reach on this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reimer. Do you have any questions, Mr. Valderrama?
No questions for now, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Arnell, do you have any questions?
No questions, thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Cartland, do you have any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Okay. And Mr. Reimer, you made things very, very clear. So I don't either. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Excuse me, just okay. So we'll next go on then to item number 6, which is the property at item 117-55 Sage Creek Boulevard. And Mr. Valderrama, when you're ready, you can proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next file has a file number of 24-4749. We're dealing with the roll year 2025. And we're still using the reference date of April 1st, 2023. So the business is located at 55 Sage Creek Boulevard with a unit number of 117. It has a business assessment ID of 56162. The total annual rental value is $50,280, with a total area for the business premise of about 1,467 square feet, and an overall ARV per square foot of about $34.27. The calculated rent per square foot is about $31.59 based on the model. And the areas with heat, electricity, and water, and also air-conditioned area is about 1,467 square feet, giving it a total occupancy cost of about $3,961. Adding the base ARV of 46,343, the annual rental value is $50,280. Right below my evidence, Mr. Chair, are some rent comparables. They are all ranging from $30 per square foot up to $39 per square foot, Mr. Chair, and they're about in the area of the business premise, Mr. Chair. And that's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Reimer, any questions?
Just a couple.
And-
Mr.
Sorry, Mr. Chair. I missed saying also that I'm making a recommendation on this one. I apologize on that one.
I'm sorry, Mr. Valrem, I didn't get what you said.
I was gonna make a recommendation on this one. I missed that
Oh,
part,
I'm
Mr. Chair.
sorry.
Sorry
Okay,
about that.
I thought you were finished. Maybe I cut you off. In which
No,
case,
no,
it's you.
I forgot I was making a recommendation on this one. I didn't know. I have it on a different file, Mr. Chair, and I apologize. So I am recommending, if I may, Mr. Chair, 48,000 even for
Okay, and that,
a total annual rental value.
yes. Okay, and that would be based pretty closely to what Mr. Reimer's requested, going on the in-place lease at $30 a foot. Is that correct, Mr. Valderrama?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
And Mr. Reimer, this is pretty close to what you've requested. I'm assuming that you're accepting 48,000.
I am in agreement. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, Mr. Carlin?
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Arnell, do you have any questions?
No, we're good, thanks.
Thank you. And I don't have any questions either. So that takes us then to the last item on the docket, the property at 111-25 Sage Creek Boulevard. And a note on that one, Mr. Reimer, you are requesting that the board confirm the in-place assessment or rental.
I am indeed, yes.
Thank you. And any questions, anybody?
No, Chair. No,
No
Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, it seems so. So thank you. That means
I'll
we've
just,
said- yes,
Mr. Chair, I'll just read through the information
well,
on the
please, thank you.
file. Yeah. The last filed in the docket has a file number of 24-4817. And then we're dealing with 2025 as the roll year and using reference date of April 1st, 2023. The business premise is located at 25 Sage Creek Boulevard with the unit number of 111. It has a business assessment ID of 53416. It has a total annual rental value of $173,580 with a total area for the premise of about 5,248 square feet and a calculated overall ARV per square foot of about $33.08. And that's the information of the file, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. And we've already noted that the applicants requested confirmation of the assessment. And so we've now completed all items on the agenda today. We're going to adjourn this hearing at this time. I'm going to thank both of you for your diligence in settling so many matters and also the recommendations that were made by you, Mr. Valderrama, here today as well. And I know you worked hard to get the docket done before we even approached today. So thank you both for your diligence and have a good morning.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a good
Bye-bye.
day.
Bye.